the year 980, as Europe struggled through its dark ages, a child was born in a small village near Bukhara, in what is now Uzbekistan. His name was Abu Ali al-Hussein ibn Abdullah ibn Sina, known to the West as Avicenna, and to history as one of the greatest minds humanity has ever produced. While most children played in the dusty streets, young Ibn Sina's extraordinary memory drew gasps from his elders. By age 10, he had memorized the entire Quran, all 236 verses, a feat that normally took dedicated scholars years to accomplish. Ibn Sina's father, recognizing his son's remarkable gifts, arranged for the finest scholars in mathematics, astronomy, philosophy, and Islamic theology to tutor the boy. Years later, Ibn Sina would write of this time.
I read the books of the ancients and dedicated myself to understanding their thoughts. Each problem I encountered, I studied until I comprehended its intricate workings. By 18, I had mastered all there was to learn from books. Knowledge clung to me. It did not abandon me as I matured.
Medicine particularly captivated the young prodigy. At night, by oil lamp, he pored over medical texts, not merely memorizing them, but questioning their assertions. By 16, physicians were bringing him their most perplexing cases.
I found medicine not difficult, he recalled with characteristic confidence, for medicine is not one of the deep sciences.
This confidence would soon be put to the test. Word reached the palace that Ibn Sina possessed uncommon medical insight. The ruler of Bukhara, Nu ibn Mansur, had fallen ill with a mysterious malady that confounded his court physicians. When the teenage Ibn Sina was summoned, courtiers smirked at his youth. Yet after careful examination and questioning, he identified the ailment and prescribed a treatment that succeeded where others had failed. The grateful ruler granted Ibn Sina full access to the royal library, a treasure trove of knowledge from across the known world.
I discovered books whose names were unknown to many, he wrote, and perhaps have never been seen since.
But it was in Bukhara's crowded hospitals, not its libraries, that Ibn Sina's most profound insights took root. Moving among beds filled with the suffering, he noticed patterns overlooked by others. Patients with similar physical symptoms often recovered at different rates. Those consumed by fear or despair languished, while those with hope and peace of mind healed more rapidly.
I observed that the imagination has power over the body,
he would later write.
The soul and body are intimate companions. If one falls ill, the other cannot remain healthy.
While studying a woman with severe abdominal pain, he asked about recent events in her life. Learning of her son's dangerous journey to distant lands, Ibn Sina suspected what no physical examination could reveal, that worry, not disease, was causing her symptoms. The remedy for her body, he told his students, begins with easing her mind. When news arrived of her son's safe return, her recovery was swift and complete. This experience crystallized what would become his revolutionary approach. True healing must address both body and soul.
If you're enjoying this journey so far, don't forget to like and share this video. Your support helps us share these incredible stories with a global audience. Now back to the show.
As the new millennium dawned, political upheaval shattered the stability of Ibn Sina's world. The Samanid dynasty that had ruled Bukhara collapsed under Turkish invasion. At just 22, Ibn Sina was forced to flee the only home he had known, beginning a peripatetic life that would characterize his remaining years.
The wise man, he would later reflect, is not one who remains fixed in comfortable surroundings, but one who extracts wisdom from every place his feet touch.
Moving from court to court across the Persian lands, Ibn Sina served as physician to various rulers. Political protection was fleeting. Some patrons were overthrown, others turned against him when his forthright nature offended courtiers. In Ray, Isfahan, Hamadan, and other Persian cities, his reputation grew as he diagnosed conditions others could not comprehend. A woman thought possessed by spirits revealed symptoms Ibn Sina recognized as epilepsy. A merchant believed to be cursed showed signs of what we now call diabetes. Each case strengthened his conviction that superstition must yield to careful observation. During these years of wandering, Ibn Sina began his most ambitious project, synthesizing all medical knowledge into a comprehensive encyclopedia. Rising before dawn to write, then treating patients until nightfall, he produced pages at an astonishing rate. Sleep, he famously remarked, draws the soul away from the visible world into the invisible one. Yet for me, many truths become clear in that state between wakefulness and slumber. Indeed, he often kept a tablet by his bedside to record insights that came during fitful rest. The resulting masterpiece, Al-Qanun fi al-Tib, the Canon of Medicine, would transform medical practice for half a millennium. Within its pages, Ibn Sina described diseases with unprecedented precision. He was the first to recognize the contagious nature of tuberculosis and the spread of diseases through water and soil. He outlined 760 medicinal drugs and their effects. Most revolutionary was his insistence that physicians document symptoms methodically and test treatments systematically, establishing the experimental approach centuries before the European scientific method. Yet what separated Ibn Sina from contemporaries was his understanding of the heart, both as a physical organ and as the metaphorical seat of emotion. He correctly described the heart's function in blood circulation 600 years before William Harvey. More remarkably, he developed pulse diagnosis into an art form, recognizing that the heartbeat reveals not just physical conditions but emotional states. When presented with a young man whose illness defied diagnosis, Ibn Sina famously had an assistant recite the names of various districts and people while monitoring the patient's pulse. When one name caused the pulse to quicken dramatically, Ibn Sina declared, "This man suffers from love for a woman from this quarter, and his remedy lies in their union." The astonished patient confirmed this diagnosis. Ibn Sina's approach to treatment was equally revolutionary. For a nobleman suffering from melancholy, what we might now call depression, he prescribed not just medicines but also music therapy, aromatic baths, and poetry recitation. For a child with persistent fevers, he recommended nutritional changes and gentle exercise alongside herbal remedies. These weren't merely complementary treatments. Ibn Sina insisted they were fundamental to recovery. The physician, he wrote, must be resourceful in devising means to combat illness, for the human being is not merely flesh and blood, but a creature of consciousness whose thoughts may heal or harm the body. Perhaps his most daring medical intervention came during an outbreak of what historians believe was bubonic plague. While others fled or resorted to ineffective traditional remedies, Ibn Sina implemented systematic quarantine, isolating the sick and those who had contact with them. He instructed caregivers to wash hands and garments in vinegar and wear protective coverings. Contagion passes from the ill to the healthy, he observed, through invisible means that logic tells us must exist, though our eyes cannot perceive them. His protocol saved countless lives and established principles of epidemic control still used today.
If you're enjoying this video and want to support the channel, consider shopping through our affiliate links in the description. It won't cost you anything extra, but it helps us cover the costs of creating more great content for you. Thank you.
By 1021, Ibn Sina had settled in Isfahan under the protection of the local ruler. Though only in his early 40s, years of travel, political intrigue, and relentless work had taken their toll. Yet his intellectual output remained prodigious, completing not just medical texts, but also works on philosophy, astronomy, mathematics, and poetry. In his comprehensive vision, these were not separate fields, but interconnected aspects of understanding creation.
He who lacks knowledge of the natural sciences, he wrote, is deficient in his comprehension of God.
During these final years, Ibn Sina codified what might be called the first comprehensive medical ethics. He insisted physicians must treat rich and poor with equal diligence, maintain patient confidentiality, and continue their education throughout life.
The doctor's first duty, he wrote, is to ease suffering. Where cure is impossible, it remains possible to comfort.
He established guidelines for teaching medicine, insisting students combine theoretical knowledge with practical experience at patients' bedsides. A model medical education still follows. In 1037, while accompanying his patron on a military campaign, Ibn Sina fell seriously ill with colic. True to form, he documented his own symptoms and treatments, turning his death into a final lesson for his students. When traditional remedies failed, he reportedly instructed his physician to administer 8 enemas in a single day, an extreme measure that reflected his deteriorating judgment. Recognizing the futility of further treatment, he distributed his possessions to the poor, freed his slaves, and devoted his final days to reading the Quran and contemplation. On his deathbed at age 58, Ibn Sina supposedly uttered,
"I die with the satisfaction of knowing that nothing I learned was of use to me in preserving my own health. We are all subject to the same laws of nature."
Whether these were truly his last words or later attribution, they reflect the humility that often comes to even the greatest minds when confronting mortality. He was buried in Hamadan, where his mausoleum stands to this day. Ibn Sina's Canon of Medicine spread rapidly throughout the Islamic world and beyond. By the 12th century, it had been translated into Latin, becoming the standard medical text in European universities from Montpellier to Bologna. For over 500 years, until well into the 17th century, European physicians learned medicine from the works of this Persian polymath. The Canon of Medicine was one of the first books printed with movable type in Europe after the Bible, ensuring its wide distribution. While modern medicine has naturally surpassed many of Ibn Sina's specific diagnoses and treatments, his fundamental insights remain remarkably valid. His insistence that mental states affect physical health anticipated psychosomatic medicine by nearly a millennium. His emphasis on preventive care, moderation in diet, and regular exercise as health maintenance mirrors contemporary public health recommendations. His systematic approach to testing treatments established the foundation for clinical trials. Perhaps most relevant today is Ibn Sina's holistic vision, his refusal to separate physical ailments from emotional and spiritual well-being. As modern healthcare struggles with fragmentation into ever narrower specialties, his integrative approach offers a corrective.
The physician, he wrote, must remember that the patient is not a malfunctioning collection of parts, but a unique being whose recovery depends on harmony between body and soul.
In an age when religious doctrine often constrained scientific inquiry, Ibn Sina demonstrated that faith and reason could coexist. Though a devout Muslim who performed his daily prayers faithfully, he insisted that observation and experiment must guide medical practice. This marriage of spiritual insight with empirical rigor offers a powerful model for our own divided times. Today, 1,000 years after his death, Ibn Sina's legacy lives on. The World Health Organization celebrates his contributions to global medicine. Major medical centers from Iran to Canada bear his name. His portrait hangs in the halls of the University of Paris Medical School alongside history's greatest physicians. His writings, spanning some 450 works across multiple disciplines, continue to be studied by scholars worldwide. Ibn Sina's work stands as a testament to the brilliance of the Islamic Golden Age when scholarship flourished across the Muslim world. His contributions to Islamic science and Islamic philosophy represent some of the greatest intellectual achievements of this Golden Age of Islam. Through his systematic explorations of the natural world and his contemplations on the nature of existence, Ibn Sina even developed what many scholars consider a philosophical proof of God. When we receive patient-centered care, benefit from clinical trials testing new treatments, or see mental health integrated into physical treatment plans, we experience the distant echoes of Ibn Sina's revolutionary vision. In a world increasingly fractured between technological specialization and holistic approaches, between faith traditions and scientific worldviews, his synthesis of knowledge offers a beacon. As he himself wrote in a moment of poetic reflection,
"The soul that sees the harmony between body and spirit will find the path to healing both."
Which of these facts surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. Next week's topic is top secret, but subscribing is your all-access pass to the reveal. Until next time, keep up the adventures, keep discovering and exploring our amazing world. And I will see you, and yes, I do mean you, in the next video.